Also with me is Judith Olwoch Waziri, the CEC in charge of disaster from the CEC for disaster from county government of Kisumu. And then I do have Major Mdigila, who is the Director of Disaster Operations at the Kenya Red Cross, and also, most importantly, my good brother here, the Secretary General of the Kenya Red Cross Society, Idris Ahmed. So I'll read a statement, and then after that I'll call upon them to come and make some few remarks. That is the CEC, and then the statement on the flooding situation in Kenya, issued on 7th May 2024 at Nduru Secondary School in Kisumu County, which is this sub-county? Kadibo sub-county, which constituency? Nyando constituency. This place of Ambassador Fred Outa. Kenya continues to grapple with the devastating effects of the floods from the 2024 long rains season, that is March, April and May. The ongoing flooding and landslide across the country have damaged property, impacted on our households, and are disrupting critical infrastructure and public services. In fact, members of the press, we've just come from using a road that is now a lake. We've come all the way up to here using boats. And I'm very touched as the government spokesman. I have not seen something like it before, where people are actually living in water. You find cattle in water, you find school children in water, women in water. It is in dire situation. And the problem there is that the dike was never maintained, so the water that is supposed to be helping the irrigation has now flown into people's homes. That is the biggest challenge that we have found here. Homes are completely marooned. As a government, we condole with friends and families who have lost their loved ones, and also empathize with those who are recovering from injuries resulting from the poor weather conditions. We also appreciate those Kenyans who have come out to support the victims of the floods through material and financial donations, as well as voluntary services and expertise, including their time, so that we can alleviate the sufferings of our neighbors. In matters transport, landslides, mudslides, as well as bridges have been reported in Makueni, Nyandarua, and Bomet counties. In fact, like in Nyandarua, Kipipiri constituency, most of the bridges have been washed away. There has also been spillage of the Moya East Camp Masinga Dam into Embu County, and a severe overtopping of Kangudo Road at Joska Bridge in Machakos County. And you know, this is really close to Nairobi. It's within the Nairobi metropolitan area. A similar situation has also occurred here in Kisumu County, where River Nyando was overflowing into the Nyando Bridge, rendering the Nairobi-Kisii-Homa Bay Road impassable, and already some cracks can be seen on that bridge, therefore questioning the integrity of that bridge. The Kapenguria Lodwar Highway has also been cut off at the Lous Trading Center, while the Tudhu and Karuruo Road in Murang'a, Tudho that is, and the Karururo Road in Murang'a County have been blocked by a landslide. Additionally, the seasoned lake in Kajiado has displaced some families, while the Kiramatian Bridge over the Oltepes Magadi Road has been overtaken by raging waters, and some sections of it are currently impassable. So those of us who go to eat nyama in Oltepes, unfortunately, there is a problem there in that road. And also, we are equally concerned about the villages that have been marooned including in Ilngarua, Gabo in Baringo County, as well as the Huruma and Rongai villages in Nakuru County. Several households in these places have been displaced, and a landslide has damaged parts of the railway line. So you can see it's also interfering with the railway situation. So that is in transport. When it comes to agriculture, it is unfortunate that agricultural activities have also been impacted across the country, with a total of 7,533 acres of agricultural land being destroyed and 4,003 livestock have died. And as I've told you, we are seeing even some of the cattle are now actually in water. Equally concerning is that the current environment is conducive for the multiplication of vectors and poses a high risk of the outbreak of vector-borne diseases, especially the Rift Valley fever. Accordingly, county teams have been trained on early detection and diagnosis of the Rift Valley diseases, an advisory issued by the Director of Veterinary Services, so that there can be a setup of control measures, enhanced surveillance of vector-borne diseases, and the use of personal protective equipment, PPE, by professionals when handling sick animals. In education, the devastating effects of the floods and landslides are also being felt in the education sector, with various schools experiencing infrastructural disruption and hosting internally displaced persons, IDPs. As of today, 1,203 primary schools have been affected. The heavy rains have also impacted 439,081 primary school students, 294 secondary schools, and 124,358 secondary school students. Additionally, 3,945 toilets in primary schools have sunken, and 81 roofs in secondary schools have been blown off, thereby preventing the resumption of normal academic activities. So those of us who are asking why are we not resuming schooling, you can see this is a very huge number of schools. 1,203 primary schools are already affected, and that has affected 439,081 primary school students. So they have nowhere to go. 294 secondary schools have already been affected, and of course totaling to 124,000 people. So you can see over close to 600,000 learners cannot go back to school as we speak currently. So that is why we have actually had to stop this indefinitely. And it's good to say that this has actually affected us even more than the El Nino rains. When it comes to health, dispensaries and health facilities in Tana River, Kisumu, Kajiado, Busia, and Kisumu counties have been flooded, and the roads leading to some of these have been cut off by these landslides or mudslides and water. This has rendered the facilities inaccessible and hampered disaster operations in the area. There is, however, enhanced disease surveillance in all of the counties for acute diarrheal disease, febrile illnesses, injuries, and other diseases. Daily reporting of the March, April, May associated public health incidents is being carried out by the county health teams, and it's also good to say we have a national public health operations center at KNH, and there's a toll-free number 719. So if you have any disease, any outbreak, please report there so that we can move forward together. Generally, in terms of the impact, these floods have caused a lot of disruption and destruction, and as a result, we are very sad to report that we have already lost 238 lives. That is 8 more deaths in the last 24 hours. Yesterday we lost 1. So that is why the whole number is coming 238. And it has really increased because only a week ago we had only lost 54 people. So you can almost see nearly 200 people have lost their lives in a span of a week. So it's quite serious. A total number of 174 people have been injured, and 75 individuals cannot be found. They are missing. The number of houses or households that have been affected has increased to 47,000, and the number of people who have been affected cumulatively is now more than 240,000. Nairobi County has the highest number with over 163,000 people, and followed by this region, as we speak, and the RC is here, over 40,000 people have been affected directly by this. So Nairobi is leading, 163, almost 164,000 people, followed by 40,000 people in the Nyanza region. Then you have Eastern region with 5,957, and quite a number of people in central Kenya and also the coastal region. So the question is, with all of this, what is government doing? First and foremost, you have seen it for yourself, in collaboration with the Kenya Red Cross, which is a statutory body, and the SG is here and will be speaking. We've been able to issue out 441 non-food items here, packages, and they are very expensive, and he will be talking about it. It's not little money, so we are working together. And yesterday we had a national emergency response meeting that was also attended by over 20 donors, the UN also. And so let me read what we have done so far in text. There is thus an immediate need for increased food and non-food items, as well as resource mobilization for search and rescue in most of the affected areas. Accordingly, the government has deployed varied mechanisms to handle the disaster and to manage the ongoing evacuations. The KDF and NYS have been deployed to assist in the search and rescue operations, while the National Government Administrative Officers, GAO, who are here, represented by the RC and also the County Commissioner, have been mobilized to assist residents to move to safer areas. And let me say this very clearly, that GAO officers are working day and night, giving food, getting all the pressure from the ground, coordinating with the Kenya Red Cross, and they are doing a very good job. I think that must be said without a doubt. It is therefore important to note that unlike the previous evacuations, the Kenya Kwanza government is implementing a humane and a structured evacuation process, where evacuations are taking place during the day and not during the night, between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. So no evacuations is being done at night like we have seen before, and temporary shelters are being provided to the affected groups. For example, in the package that we are giving people here, they are actually canvas. You can set some little tent where you can sleep. So that also is very, very important. This is a departure from the past where affected residents were actually chased without any form of direction and without any form of government assistance. The impacted households are also receiving food, blankets, medicine, mattresses, etc. to caution them from the harsh weather conditions, including dignity kits. And by the way, there is something very interesting that is happening in Nairobi. Watu wanakuja mchana kula, usiku wanatoroka, wanaenda kulala kwingine. So I think they are being hosted elsewhere. And it's a good spirit of Kenyans. Sometimes they say these are the peculiar habits of Kenyans. Here in Kisumu also, people are actually removed from the riparian areas, and they were even compensated and settled. But some of them opted to sell off their land and return to the lake. Now again they are displaced. So really, we need to have an honest conversation with our people, because now that is double tragedy going forward. In Kisumu County, the food and non-food items have been received so far from the government. There are 720 bags of 50 kg beans, of beans, 400 bags of rice, 50 kg rice, 20 bags of 25 kg flour, 1,500 iron sheets, nails, a lot of kilograms there, 20 cartons of soap, 100 jikos and 100 solar lamps. But I want to say that the county also received a lot of this support during El Nino. However, we need much more. We need much more. The people that we have seen there are many and in need. And even some of them, like this mosaic here, you can see he's still with us here. Many people. And these are the ones who are able to make it for this distribution center in Duru Secondary. There are many marooned in villages. We have even seen an old man there who cannot just get out of his house. And he's a very old person. He's just out of the house. He cannot move. And you know, even the boats that are moving around, they are charging money. Yeah, so it's not that they are free rides. People are making money out of that because that is their business anyway. Fishermen are now fishing men. You know, and you know they are fishing on the road, the same road that you are going to the market. Now you have to get into a boat to go to your nearby church. It's a dire situation. It's a dire situation. In fact, it was very funny. You know, one day, SG and I, we launched boats on dry land. Today, we are actually riding boats on rather dry land, or something that should be, the dry land is now, I think we should have had our boats. And also we are wearing even, what do you call them, the life jacket, on land. It's really serious. So watu ambao mko huko Nairobi, na kwa mahoteli na maofisi, msemaji mkuu wa serikali anasema, sio kuzuri vile. Sio kuzuri. Unaweza kuimagine wewe, unaishi kwa maji, nyumba yako imejaa kwa maji. Kuna mtu tumepata, geti ni ya chuma, hata imetengenezewa mawe, lakini nusu imejaa maji. It's quite something. You know, we start saying baby ni wale watu kuna nyumba za hali ambayo si ya juu sana. It is affecting everybody. So it's quite something. Now further, the affected households in the Nyando, Kadibo, and Nyakach sub-counties have also received food, but still we need to give more, especially in Muhoroni areas, so that we reach people in Nyakach area, and we'll be getting the request from the RC to transmit ongoing to the National Disaster Operation Center. In other parts of the country, those who have lost their basic documents are being assisted through the development of civil registry lands, Kenya National Examination Council, and registration of persons departments are being mobilized on the ground. And if anywhere where this is operating, this is an instruction from the government, please assist people so that they get registered and so that we can give them their documents that have been lost for free as a government. We'll give them for free because it is not their own making, so kindly register. A database of the affected households is also being compiled into a priority list of beneficiaries so that we can know how many people require the social housing program, because 20,000 units will be put up within Nairobi County to move these people from the slums and riparian areas into their homes, where they will continue to pay only 3,000 shillings for rent until they are able to own their own homes. So it's 3,000 shillings, but you are paying that as a mortgage. So 20,000 houses are being put up. So please register, and this program is also extending here into Kisumu, and that is why now people should understand why His Excellency the President was very keen on doing affordable housing. This is the time people need to know, so that we move away from these spaces and we can be more comfortable. We are grateful for the continued support from our development partners and international partners, in particular the United Nations, led by the resident coordinator Steve Jackson. They have pledged up to US dollars 7 million, which is about 900 million, to help people across the country, and this support is increasing by the day. Also, it is important to report to the nation that the British High Commission has also given the country Kenya shillings 140 million in that regard. Also, it's good to mention that USAID, during the last El Nino, they gave us another $1 million, and it's part of the resources that also we are helping in conjunction with the Kenya Red Cross, but we need much more. UNICEF will also enable the provision of cash transfer to 6,900 households who have been most affected by extreme weather. It is also good to say that also UNICEF will provide health, nutrition and sanitation services, including safe drinking water, temporary sanitation facilities and hygiene kits to safeguard health and well-being of the affected population to help prevent the outbreak of water diseases. However, in this package, there is a piece of hiyo mfuko ya maji. It's good I demonstrate to the nation. Kama unaweza kuipata haraka haraka. Yeah, so there's a kind of polythene bag that yes, this one, that we are giving to families. Here. Sorry for that. So this one, you can all see. Thank you. So this one, if you can all see, it's called Sour Safe Water, Safe Life. So you put water up to 4 liters, you put it in the sun, and then within, how long? 4 hours. Within 4 hours, this water is ready for consumption. Because we are having a problem of too much water, but none to drink. That is why we are having this. So, and it will be healthy for consumption as long as it doesn't have other impurities. So the Kenya Red Cross volunteers are helping families to understand that. So the previous funding from the UK government also was able to provide cash assistance to 1,800 families in Tana River County. And also, which is very important, the Kenya government, as announced yesterday by His Excellency the President, is going to give Kenya shillings 10,000 to all of the affected households. There are over 42,000 households across the country, so that at least it can help in terms of 1 month rent, because we are anticipating this to go for about a month, so that at least by that time we shall have other solutions going forward. So I know some people are saying, oh yeah, but it's only for 1 month, because after May we hope this can go back to normalcy and we shall have had proper ways of doing this. But however, we are not going to allow anyone to go back to the riparian areas. Please take note, 30 meters, nobody is going to be allowed to go back. This is an opportunity for us also to rectify poor urban planning, so that then we get it right. And those planners, this is a consequence of taking money and bribes to approve illegal plans. This is a consequence. Making people to lose lives. I think it's a curse. Don't take money and then you are destroying our cities. We have to be very careful as a nation, as a people. The ongoing local support has also involved the mobilization of foods and non-food items from the private sector, the KEPSA membership through the KEPSA Foundation led by Gloria Ndekei, which is, has supported the call to action by the Deputy President, and as of now, they have already given food in Mukuru, Kibera and Githurai and Mathare places in Nairobi County. And this includes 10 trucks of assorted foods, 300 kgs of green drums, dengu, 16,000 blankets, 6,300 mattresses, very commendable from the Chandaria Team Package, and 16,000 cups and plates, 4,000 additional hamper, that is including food and water view, boxes of milk, it's a 3,500 dignity packs, especially for women, and also about 300,000 from someone for medicine for my Mahi victims, and they are continuing to mobilize support. So this is very, very important going forward. So the Pankaj Foundation, 16,000 mattresses, 4,000 hampers, 16,000 cups, and 1,600 blankets, just to make it very clear. We also have received bales of maize flour, green grams, super cereals, cooking oil from the M-Pesa Foundation, which has been channeled to the households in Kibra, Viwandani, Babadogo, and Landimawe, residents, but also here in Kisumu. The Safaricom has also given out food, and I think, Madam Judith, you can confirm that. Special thanks go to the varied companies and captains of industry for their generous donation to the flood victims and for continued engagement with the NDOC, that is the National Disaster Operations Center. And let me just mention them so that we recognize their efforts. Dr. Manu Chandaria, Peter Ndegwa, the CEO of Safaricom, Team Pankaj, P-A-N-K-A-J, Patrick Obath, engineer, Shofco, NGO, and I think I even saw they have been here recently. And they're also trying to help so many people go to school. They even have girls' schools and all of that. Trinity, Bimal Kantaria, Elgon, Lee Karuri of Mount Longonot Holdings, Bill Lay, the former GM of General Motors, Karo Karaoke, and Jazz Bedi. Jazz Bedi is a very well-known entrepreneur in this country. We anticipate additional interventions from various people, and so we call upon Kenyans. You don't have to be so known. When you help your neighbor by giving them a meal and they were fishermen and they cannot go because of the high waves, you are also a great person. Lazima tukue na ule uzalendo. Now, this is the weather condition. Residents should expect occasional rainfall over the western Lake Victoria Basin, central, the coastal strip, the Rift Valley, parts of the southern and lowlands, and portions of northeastern. Heavy rainfall will, however, continue in the Lake Victoria Basin. That's why we are here. Western Kenya, central, the coastal region, and parts of Mandera County. The water levels have also increased in the Tana, Nzoia, Athi, and Nyando rivers, demanding extra caution to prevent the loss of life. The ongoing rainfall in central Kenya and the overflowing of the 7 Fork dams is expected to increase flooding in the Tana Delta, impacting the Lamu, Tana River, and Garissa counties, including Kilifi counties. The Kiambera Dam, in particular, has recorded an overflow of 1,373.1 cunex, while the Gitaro and Kaburu dams have recorded 1,134.9 cunex and 1143 cunex overflowing respectively. So you can see this is basically like 1 meter plus. And for example, for Masinga, that 1 meter, because it's a 3x3 kilometer dam, it has increased by another 2 kilometers. So you can imagine 2 kilometers full of water and how many people have been displaced. The Kenya Meteorological Department reports that the Cyclone Hidaya has completely lost its strength and this follows the weakening of the remnants of the rain clouds that accompanied the cyclone, and which have been observed to weaken and spread out in various areas of the southern region of Tanzania. Kwale, Mombasa, Kilifi, and Lamu counties are thus likely to experience moderate to heavy rainfall offshore, as well as strong winds, which might propagate inland over the next days. Accordingly, beach activities, fishing, swimming, and non-essential transport within Kenya territorial waters have been suspended. No swimming, no fishing. No swimming, no fishing. Please take that very clearly in the coastal region. Additionally, the Kenya Coast Guard has a ship patrolling the Long Island, along Indian Ocean, coast of the Kenya territory, and additional 3 boats have been deployed with 20 officers on standby. So that is there. Also, the Ministry of Interior, we have 3 aircraft from the police, 1 helicopter, and 2 caravan helicopters, but also we have hired another 3. So we have 6 helicopters on standby to assist in the evacuation, as you are seeing what was happening here. As you can see, it's almost going to rain. Residents, particularly those in the coastal region, as well as individuals involved in maritime activities within and around the Indian Ocean, are encouraged to stay informed, to regularly check the latest weather forecast, and take maximum precaution in order to keep safe from the impacts of the flooding situation because of the huge waves. Rainfall is expected to continue over several parts of the country. Heavy rainfall events are likely to occur in some parts of the highlands, east and west of the Rift Valley, all of the way the Lake Victoria region and Rift Valley. During the first half of the forecast period, that is up to Thursday, Friday there, rainfall intensity will be there across the country, but then it will reduce as we come to the weekend, especially within the day. The temperature of over 300 C experienced in most parts of the coast region and northern Kenya is actually what is being forecasted here. The average nighttime minimum temperatures will be below less than 100 degrees Celsius over some parts of the highlands east of Rift Valley. We advise all Kenyans to stay prepared and safe. We will continue to do public sensitization, and we will continue to do structured evacuation as a government, and we collaborate with partners to rehabilitate the infrastructure and the resumption of normal services. In case of any emergency, please call 0800 721 571. 0800 721 571. Kenya ni nchi nzuri, fauka ya mafuriko. Sisi tunajiamini na tunajua serikali haiwezi kawacha kamwe wananchi wa Kenya waendelee kuhangaika, na ndiposa tumekuja hapa na hii timu yote ili tuweze kuonyeshana kile ambacho serikali inafanya. Tumepatiana vifaa tofauti tofauti, mablanketi, sabuni, vitu vya jikoni kwa wananchi wa hapa Nduru, na tumeingia tukaona maji yamefurika sana. Barabara tunatumia boti kabisa, tunatumia boti. Maajabu iliyoko mpaka tunavaa hivi life jacket. Huku nyumba zimefurika, ng'ombe ziko katikati ya maji, watoto tumewapata wanaketi hawezi wakaenda shule, na mzee mmoja hapa ataweza akatembea, kwa sababu hata hiyo boti lazima ulipe, kwa sababu ile handaki imeweza kuvunja mipaka, imeweza kuharibika. Kwa hivyo mto yani ziwa linakuja mpaka majumbani mwa watu, na mvua itaendelea kunyesha hapa. Tunasikitika kusema kwamba watu 238 wameweza kuangamia na watu wengi sana 174 wameweza kujeruhiwa vibaya, na zaidi ya watu 72 hawajulikani kule waliko. Lakini serikali iko. Jana tumekuwa na mkutano mkubwa wa wafadhili. Tunashukuru kusema kwamba tuko na zaidi ya dola milioni 7 kutoka Umoja wa Mataifa. Kuna shilingi milioni 140 kutoka watu ambao wanatusaidia kutoka kule Uingereza. Pia watu wa UNICEF watapatia manyumba 6,900 pesa kila za kuweza kuwasaidia. Mheshimiwa William Ruto mwenyewe ameweza kutoa amri tupatie zaidi ya familia 40,000 shilingi 10,000 za huu mwezi, kwa sababu huu ni msimu wa mvua na utaenda mpaka mwisho wa mwezi wa 5. Lakini tunatoa tahadhari, tuache shughuli za uvuvi kule upande wa pwani. Kile kibunga cha Hidaya kimeweza kukwisha nguvu zake. Tunashukuru Mungu, maombi inafanya kazi. Unajua kuna watu wengine wanasema tunaomba sana, tutaendelea kuomba. Kibunga kimekwisha nguvu, haleluya. Lakini watu wasiingie katika shughuli za nini, za uvuvi. Ni hayo niseme kwamba Kenya ni nchi nzuri, Kenya itasimama, Kenya itainuka, Kenya itanawiri kwa umoja na uzalendo. Mimi ni mzalendo. Je, wewe unamsaidia mwenzako vipi? Kwa hayo mengi, let me now invite the CEC to make some few remarks, and then later on the Secretary General of Kenya Red Cross. Then we can take some 1 or 2 questions. Tuondoke kwa sababu lazima tuondoke hivyo.
Thank you. Wazalendo. I remember before we embarked on this mission, Honorable Mwaura prayed for all of us before we left Kisumu, and that is very touching. He knew what we expected here. Now, on behalf of the county government of Kisumu, I want to state that we are working very closely with the national government, very closely with the regional commissioner's office, the county commissioner's office. Our administrators on the ground are working closely with the SEC and the DCCs to establish where the issues are and responding accordingly. I want to thank the national government. I want to specially thank Red Cross team for the effort so far bestowed on the county, the support that has been provided. The flood situation in Kisumu is worsening. We know the backflow from the lake is chaotic. It has just been explained how the situation is, and we know that the rivers have burst their banks. As a county government, we appeal for long-term interventions. We are appealing for long-term intervention so that we can save the people. We want dikes built. All the dikes have collapsed because of the heavy rains. If the Korusoin Dam can be constructed, then the water that flows upstream down to the Nyando to Kadibo will stop. It will be manageable. The lake is full because water is coming from the highlands. So we appeal for long-term interventions. As a county government of Kisumu, we have the multi-agency steering committee where the national government sits. It is co-chaired by the county commissioner and His Excellency the Governor. We have Red Cross that is also on board and several UN agencies. They've been very supportive to us in terms of provision of food and non-food items. As the county government, as we speak today, the deputy governor is in Nyakach. distributing food items. Tomorrow we are in Moroni. We have been here in Kadibo. Yesterday we were in Nyando. So we appeal for well-wishers, institutions to continue standing with us. I want to especially recognize certain institutions that have stood with us. Safaricom, as mentioned, has been here. We were here on Friday with Safaricom, together with Red Cross. I also want to recognize the Sri Jalaram, the Hindu community in Kisumu, that has also been distributing food. Shoka, the UNICEF. I also want to recognize Plan International and several others that I may not mention that have been standing with us. We have set up a collection center at the sports ground, that is Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Sports Ground, where any person who feels in his heart that he wants to support the people, that's the delivery center. We also have a pay bill number, which will be in our page. This was announced the other day. I can still announce it, appealing for partners to support us.